Kenny said he answered quite a few of the questions we had on the desk, said it very well, but we're going to take a look at that series in a whole. Start with game one. I think game one chance was probably more or less what we expected going into the series.
We talked Mindfreak, their hardpoint game hasn't been great. We said TK is going to come out and stomp, and at least map one. Well, this is exactly what happened.
It is exactly what happened, but already the thing that we noticed that wasn't what we expected was that little bit of a role swap. And when we were sitting there watching, we had a lot to say about that, but Merc, it looked pretty good, and Kenny said it seemed to be working.
Yeah, it worked out really well. I believe like Kenny won on a 7 or 8 streak. Chino was also doing a great job, but they ended up switching. As you heard Kenny, I mean, this was a game they were expected to win, and they were just trying some new things out. I mean, it doesn't hurt to try something different, and they just controlled the pace of this entire game. At one point, I mean, from really until that second or third barrel hill, Mindfreak was stuck at 50 points. Then you saw Den start to heat up, but until that point, it was TK all day.
Yeah, no, I mean, Mindfreak, even in their comms, were saying, like, man, like, if I didn't have a slow start, they wouldn't have gotten streaks. The game could have been a lot different, because at a certain point, Mindfreak does kind of flip the switch and turn things around. But it is a very interesting point for Kenny to bring up of, like, off the rip, teams are learning our strats, so we have to mix things up. They did a similar thing on Forest, where Kenny starts out with AR, and he went up plat side for the CTF. But either way, it just seemed like it was the entire time, because Kenny just goes, like, 15 or whatever it was. But either way, again, map one, that was the standard sort of expected. Mindfreak slow start. TK looked very, very good on, yeah, pretty much every single hill.
Honestly, you hear that from Kenny, that teams do know what they're doing. They're trying to focus on that, but we've said it before. A lot of the casters have said it. It's the idea that there is just more VOD out on this team than pretty much any other team. They just play so many series. Teams get to watch their strategies, get to try to counter it, and they're kind of sitting on the top of the hill.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, all right, how do we want to become better? Let's watch TK. Well, they're the best in the world right now. They're definitely show us what we're doing wrong. We can pick up on some of their strategies, try to adjust that and put it in our game. As TK, though, you have this pro league. You can keep evolving your own game and trying to stay ahead.
All that said, that first game was what we expected. That second game was the opposite of what we expected. So going into game number 2, Chance, what did we see?
Well, Mindfreak just played their game. So we've seen in the past they're fantastic at getting first bloods, but they haven't been able to convert rounds. This time, not only did they convert, but they also made quite a few big plays. We're going to see the clip at some point. I think it was either Dens or Shocks with the FG. Picks up like a 3-piece playing up top. He did exactly what we've seen TJ do earlier when he was playing for Rise. So again, in Search and Destroy, Mindfreak, they love to pull out the FGs. They have quite a few of them at their disposal. So they shoot fantastic. They made quite a few big plays, and they were converting when they got first bloods. Even here, even when you think Chino accuracy are going to go huge, with literally a second left on the clock, it's still Mindfreak comes out on top. So the game through and through, Mindfreak just played better.
And I think just the adjustment to the game, right? It just seemed like TK, they were sticking to their B strats, going there, getting the bomb down. But again, Mindfreak clutched up every situation they had. In some of the offensive rounds they had, they were just going A. It was very clean for them. They were getting that first blood, putting the bomb down, and it just made it simple. It seemed like TK wasn't able to adapt. Again, the changes come in a couple weeks ago. How many times has Team Kaliber played this? Probably not too often, so they were adjusting on the fly as well.
And you can see just a dominant performance coming out there in SND, but accuracy in this one, 1.29 KD. When we get to that third game, it's not going to look like that at all. Agent Lamar comes out to play, and Kenny already attributed that to somewhat of what we saw coming in on that third map.
Yeah, no, I think he might have gotten more kills in the Search than the CTF. If not, it is definitely going to be very close. But even touching just one final thought on the SND, it's worth, screw it, let's just talk about the CTF. Mindfreak played absolutely fantastic, pretty much from start to finish. TK was talking about it. They're kind of giving away a lot of like free caps, but Mindfreak, they just consistently, how many times we see it, get like a clean 3, if not 4 down, and just instantly converting some flag runs.
I think the biggest thing is you finally start to see Shocks and Den, sort of the star power and the ability that they have, picking up a lot of kills on the map. I mean, they were taking over pushes. Their pushes were very effective. Again, when we saw Mindfreak play this the past week, they were getting crushed. This time they stepped up, they made some adjustments. I mean, just look at that scoreboard. Obviously, you know, you do have accuracy with 1 kill at the half. That's pretty tough to deal with at this point. He's 3 and 13, so when you're able to shut down an FG42, like accuracy, it's going to make the game a lot easier. I mean, Shocks, 25 kills on Arden Forest, capture the flag. That is a very good amount.
All things considered, though, obviously Mindfreak has had a relatively difficult time so far in the LAN League, but I think maybe we can say that CTF has been their strongest game
game mode?
Yeah, I think CTF or Search and Destroy, they've had a couple close Search and Destroy games where they probably should have closed out, but I just think that just comes with more repetitions playing against these North American teams. But yeah, CTF, I just think because how many veterans are on this team, they understand the game mode very well. But yeah, I think CTF is definitely a strong game mode for Mindfreak.
A relatively weak game mode for them, though, has been Hardpoint. When we get in that game number 4 Hardpoint, they start off pretty strong, Chance.
Yeah, so the situation I think for Mindfreak is I don't like their style of play. I think they have a very AR stationary kind of thing, and it hasn't evolved as much as what I think North America has. But to their credit, even with the same style, you see Buzzo, he started racking up kills at some point. He's got streaks of his own later in this game. The problem was for them, one, the plot armor for TK, like some of the spawns they got are just like giving them opportunities. And then Chino, of course, is helping them convert as well. There's 2 or 3 different hills where Chino just kind of takes over and stepped up for the team. So if Mindfreak watches this back, they're going to be very, very upset. But, you know, Chino and TK, they played it solidly.
I mean, look at the scoreboard. You have Kenny 19 and 30. Accuracy was neg 3. That's capture the flag. Ardennes Forest. We were on St. Marie Hardpoint. But yeah, I mean, Chino was the very clutch player that we know him to be. He gets himself set up. He gets 4 to 5 kills. He earns himself the streaks. He is like, I don't even know how to explain it. He's always in the correct position that he needs to be in. And when he has to step up, he does. He gives TK that sort of extra push that they need.
Yeah, and just to bounce off of that, when we were sitting in the back watching it, there was a moment where it was just like, oh, look, Chino just took that hill by himself.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, he's able to break with a nade, then he comes through and he wins his gunfight as well, and all of a sudden, that's 10 seconds. He's able to do that so many different times, and he really just does change the tide of the game, and at this point, that's what we expect from Chino, but the question that I'm about to ask, we did not expect going into this. 9-0 is TK so far in Game 5s, and as we enter this one, the question is Mindfreak going to be the first team to win a Game 5 against TK? We do get our answer, though, and this SND looked quite different than the other one that we saw inside this series.
Well, to Mindfreak's credit, they did a lot of things right. The biggest problem for them was this time they just didn't get as many first bloods. I think after like 7 rounds, they only had 2 first bloods, so things weren't going as well in that department. They did have some nice clutches. They made some nice plays, but ultimately, Kenny just was a freak in nature, right? Like, He starts out 8-0, he gets streaks in his back pocket, and then Accuracy and Chino, they did okay, but Theory is also the one who stepped up, and he gets streaks for himself. And I think TK, at least 2 different rounds, they won pretty much because of streaks, so that was definitely the difference maker for me.
Yeah, I think you saw some great rounds from Mindfreak overall, definitely what you wanted to see, but again, Kenny, when he's playing the way he was, I mean, he was left in that 1v2 just trying to hunt down the players, hitting ridiculous shots across the map. He finishes the game 10-3. This is sort of the Mindfreak we expected coming into the Pro League. Like, we know they can go the distance with top North American teams. This is just finally the first glimpse that we've saw of it.
And that's the big question that I really do have for you guys. Now that we've seen this Mindfreak come out, before the series even started, Jack brought up a very important point. He says, hey, look, we keep finding ourselves in this situation where we ask, is today going to be the day? Is this when Mindfreak is going to be able to play the way that we expect them to? All of a sudden, we see this. Merc, start with you. Do you think that all of this, all the things that we talk about, the fact that they're actually here on NA for the LAN League, they're starting to get those good scrims in, do we think we're actually going to see that get converted in game?
I mean, I think they're going to continue to get better and better, but I think the big difference was with this series is they took a Game 1 or Game 2, right? In the past, they're always finding themselves down 0-2 in a series, and at that point, it's just so difficult to reverse sweep some of these teams. I mean, even against teams like Arrow, where they got 3-0'd, Red Reserve, they win in Game 3, but at that point, again, they just dug themselves so deep into a hole. If they can get better at Hardpoint, take a Game 1 every now and then, or continue to really impress us in that Game 2 Search and Destroy, I think they'll be able to prolong a series and close some out.